I made it a goal to post one video every day for the entirety of 2025, and apparently a lot of you guys really like them. So this video is all the best videos I made this year, from the dumbest Roblox games to the weirdest gears. And subscribe if you want, cause number go up equal good. You ever see a Roblox platform that looks possessed? Well, that's because it has physics, and someone jumped on it wrong. But this stupid hobby game gave everything physics, making every level nearly impossible to beat. Don't believe me? Let's look at level 1. All you gotta do is jump across these platforms. Seems pretty easy, right? Except every platform has physics, so the moment you jump on the second platform, you'll just fall straight off. But if you somehow got to the next checkpoint, the levels only get harder, because level 7 presents you with this evil contraption, where you have to jump on the moving platform with a spinning lava brick. So while you're moving, you have to time your jumps. But that wasn't easy enough, because there's a second spinning lava brick you also have to jump over. But if you manage to pass that, good luck beating this. You ever saw someone on Roblox holding this rubber duck? If so, run away immediately, because in this game, everyone is out to kill you. And if you think you're safe for a second, boom, you're dead. So is the game just suffering? Kinda, because you can also beat them up as well in a Roblox game. But while other games just give you these boring weapons to fight with, like, a rocket launcher, that's it. Instead, this game gives you a lot of cool stuff to fight with. Now, when you spawn in, you get 3 random items, but they may seem kind of boring at first, because if you get something like this sword, it sucks, because all you can do with it is just swing it around. But then you realize it has a lunge ability, and when you jump in lunge, you go really far. But what about this pine? Well, sadly, you can't eat it, but you can throw it at people and it blows them up. People know that Minecraft players are insane geniuses, but not everyone knows that Roblox players are equally as insane. Now, you might think the stuff that Roblox players do aren't really that impressive, because we do have an official app that allows us to literally make games in, but that's not what I'm talking about. Instead, if you want to find all the actual genius Roblox players, there's one game you will find them in: Build a Boat for Treasure. Now, at first glance, the game seems like nothing, since all you really do in it is construct a boat with some materials, set sail, and pray that your boat makes it to the end without sinking. But if you look a little deeper, the game actually has a ton of building tools and a lot of unique ability blocks. So when you give Roblox players a few years to master it, you would end up with stuff like this. Roblox won't cancel the one good thing they made, right? Now, a few weeks ago, Roblox put out this new series called Now Play on Roblox, which was ultimately just a spotlight review on some popular games. Now, you might be thinking it was another boring corporate video, except it was actually kinda cool. But that's not just my own stupid opinion. If you look at any comment from the video, people genuinely enjoyed it, but it felt too good to be true. You see, Roblox has a history of canceling cool stuff people enjoy, and even though the video is listed as episode 1, there might be a chance Roblox could cancel it if the video flopped. Now, normally, Roblox's videos typically get a few 100,000 views, so to top that, the video would need at least 1 million views, and unfortunately, it's nearly at 2 million views. They cannot cancel this. We might be getting a new Roblox logo, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen next year. Now, back in their early days, Roblox went through a ton of logos before they stuck with this one, but more recently, Roblox has grown addicted to changing their logo a lot, because in 2017, they got rid of their old logo and introduced this new red logo, but it only lasted for 1 year before Roblox changed it to this monochrome version in 2018. But even that logo only stuck around for 4 years before in 2022, Roblox changed their logo again to this one, which we still use today. But did you notice it? At most, Roblox changes their logo every 4 years. So with 2022 being the last time Roblox updated their logo, I bet we're gonna see a new one in 2026. You ever joined a Roblox game and wanted to be a menace to everyone? Well, here's the best way to do it. First, when you join any game, you could buy those game passes that give you overpowered items, so you can spawn kill everyone in your server. And while this method is kinda effective, it does cost you Robux. And the game passes are probably super expensive, so that's not gonna be it. Instead, you wanna join a tycoon game that have bases that look like this, which I'll explain later. Then you wanna grind enough money so that you can afford any gears the game offers you. And all that matters is that the gear allows you to attack other players. Then you wanna look for your target, preferably bases that don't have any walls, but if you can't find any easy targets, there's a backup plan, because thanks to all the bases being designed like this, you can just wall hop into the base. Breaking news! We have received some amazing news about Roblox's new age verification, and it turns out it does not work well at all. Now, there's already been reports of the AI getting people's age wrong, because for people who are actually 18, the AI looks at them and thinks, yeah, that's a child. But it turns out people have also found ways to bypass the AI using Roblox. Now, in a video from Ordinary Odette, they use this model of a guy with a beard who looks pretty old, and after scanning its face, he was able to trick the AI to think he was 18 and over. But it was just one time. Surely Roblox's age verification actually works, right? Except in a video from Mr. Creekcraft himself, he used a head accessory of his face. But when he scanned it, the AI said he was too old for Roblox. If Roblox cursed you to have a hunger bar, what would you actually do? At first, you really don't care, but soon you quickly regret that decision. Because after you died from not eating, you realize you only have one life left, and after you lose it, you get banned forever. You decide to play Brookhaven, because there, you have access to an infinite amount of food, and while you did entertain yourself by trolling other players, you quickly grew sick of the game. But no matter what games you play on Roblox, you aren't able to have any more fun, since you are constantly worried about your hunger bar. So you finally had enough, and you head over to Roblox headquarters to end this. Then, as you finally spoke to Roblox himself, you weren't actually meant to get cursed, and you're saved. You remember those free Robux scam games that only kids fell for cause they're stupid? Well, it turns out there were actually different types of scam games to trick even more stupid kids. First, we got the most popular one, which I like to call the disguise games. Now, these games would disguise itself with Robux and riches, and some would even try to add fake NPCs, like Roblox himself. But let's be real, if a kid didn't think it was a bit suspicious that they had to give up their password for totally real Robux, is it wrong to say that they kinda deserve to lose their account? Second, we got the clicker scam games. Now, these games were much more dangerous. You see, to get the Robux, you had to click a button on your screen a lot of times. But while you're clicking the button, the game gives you a purchase screen that you would accidentally click. You ever played this game called Natural Disaster Survival? Well, if so, there's a few things you definitely did while playing. First, whenever there's a map that has vehicles, this game turns into the Olympics, because the moment everyone spawns, there is a mad dash to get in one of the seats to drive it, and don't deny it, you did too. But this was especially the case for the spaceship map. Now, if you somehow don't know, this map has a structure where you can climb up to get into the spaceship, which you can launch by pressing the red button. So if you were able to get one of the front seats, it felt so cool. But you know what else everyone does? Shove people off. It has become an unspoken rule that whenever a game has player collision, everyone tries to push each other off the edge. And finally, in this map, why does everyone want to go to jail? One thing Roblox players hate is paid access games. Now, typically, Roblox games are free for everyone to play, especially some of the most popular games right now. However, Roblox actually allows you to set your game to paid access, which means in order for someone to play your game, they need to pay a certain amount of Robux. Like how the game Bloxburg used to cost 25 Robux to play it. Now, a lot of you would probably think this feature is stupid, since making a game cost Robux to play it would prevent a lot of people from accessing it, and your game would probably be dead in days. But it does have its use. For example, if a developer is working on a really cool game that tons of people really want to play, but it's not fully finished yet, they can make the game paid access, so that on one side, people can playtest it early, and on the other, they can support the developer. I just realized there's not a single reason to ever use voice chat. Now, voice chat's main purpose is to allow people to talk with one another, but you know what else lets you communicate on Roblox? The chat. And not only that, but you need to have a microphone in order to even use voice chat, while on the other side, anyone can use the chat because they have a keyboard, except console players, but that's beside the point. Okay, but what if you found someone in your game that also has voice chat enabled? Then voice chat is actually useful since you can talk to them, right? No, silly. You remember Roblox's plan to force everyone to verify their age by using a robot to guess your age? Well, even if you did verify your age, you will only be allowed to communicate with other people in the same age as you, which means if the robot thought the other person was older than you, you literally can't talk to them. You guys remember that one Roblox game everyone went crazy over? Yeah, it died. Now, Roblox games quickly dying out is not new at all. Take, for example, Dead Rails, which hit a peak of 1 million active players in April, which fell like centuries ago, but soon after, the game slowly died out, now sitting around 20,000 players, which isn't bad at all, and the same goes for Grow a Garden, before averaging around 1 million players daily, but now it's only sitting around 200,000 active players, which is probably a lot of money still, but again, far from its peak. But why am I even mentioning all this? Well, you know that one other game that kinda copied Grow a Garden, but instead used these weird creatures and still got super popular? Well, I don't know what they're doing, but it's clearly working because they're still popular. I just found someone that made the dumbest mistake in Roblox history. Now you might think the person is someone who's super rich, who got scammed out of billions of robux. Or maybe it's a famous developer that accidentally gave away their password, and their games are now completely stolen. But this person I found did something even more stupid. You see, yesterday, the person, who will not be named, was sitting at their desk, but then out of nowhere, they knocked their microphone off their desk, like an idiot. Now you'd assume the microphone would be a bit damaged, but it's not too bad, right? And the good news, there was barely any damage. Sounds great, but then what's the bad news? Well, the microphone's USB port just broke off, and the person still had to record a video that day. So without any other choice, the person had to use their crappy phone microphone to record the video. But at least I'm not that stupid, right guys? Guys, I need to admit something. I'm a fraud. Now my content is mainly around Roblox, which sadly makes me a Roblox YouTuber. So you'd think with all these other Roblox YouTubers who play the game every hour of the day and make Roblox their entire lives, you would assume I also play the game a lot too, because that's my content. Here's the thing, I don't really play Roblox that much. Whoa. But then how are all my videos literally me playing a Roblox game? Surely that means I do actually play Roblox a ton, right? Not exactly. You see, other than me rarely getting on Roblox to play one of two games, the only other times I would ever touch Roblox is when I need to make a video. But even then, I typically avoid playing Roblox games. You know that one video of a kid playing some game and he's getting jump scared by images of fruit? Well, it turns out it's actually from a Roblox game called You Don't Want to See Me Infuriated. And everything in the game is beyond stupid. Like in level 4, there's a barrage of objects rolling down a hill, and you're forced to walk up the hill to progress. But if you get hit, it jump scares you with fruit. But even if you somehow made it up the hill, the levels get more stupid. Because in level 5, it may seem easy because it's just some lava bricks, except when you walk near it, it gives you these stupid Game Pass pop-ups, and you have to spam click to see where you're jumping. But even if you somehow manage to beat these 16 levels in the game, while you're happily climbing up a ladder that will take you to the end, the game gives you one more challenge: defeat a Terraria boss. If you were playing Roblox in 2018, you might remember this, the Ready Player One event. Now, if this sounds completely new to you, you might think this was just another stupid sponsored Roblox event that barely anyone played. But no, this was one of Roblox's biggest events. Now, the main gist of the event was that there were these 3 keys you had to collect in 3 separate Roblox games, or 4 depending on the device you were playing Roblox. But the way to get the keys were given through clues, and then after getting all the keys, you could access the last challenge. And if you were the first person to beat the entire event, you would get rewarded with this neat dominus. On paper, this event sounds amazing, with all these really cool hats you could get by playing games, and a dominus that only one person can obtain. The event had serious potential, but in reality, it was a dumpster fire. You're allowed to own 1 Roblox key in real life, but what would you actually pick? These items could change your life. Because of that, you might decide to go for something destructive, like a rocket launcher, or why not a subspace trip mine, since they could be really cool to own, and you could do a bit of trolling. Then you realize that could be pretty bad. If you accidentally messed up, or you forgot where you placed the mine, you would wind up in some serious trouble. Instead, you might consider something more safe, like a food item, because not only does it never run out, no matter how many times you eat it, but it also gives you some really useful effects. But then it hits you. You decide to pick this money bag, because you would have an infinite money glitch. Roblox has some unwritten rules people still don't know about. First, you know how in Minecraft they have a form of silent communication? One method you probably know about is how players spam crouch to express that they're friendly to other players. Well, in Roblox, we kinda got something similar. If you want to express to another player that you're happy without saying it, it's been a tradition where you would simply spin around in a circle. Or another common method people use is to rapidly jump. I'm not sure how this developed, but it is pretty silly. Second, some people might think that if you avoid exploiting or uploading bad stuff on Roblox, you shouldn't ever get banned. However, if you are a real Roblox player, we all know that's just a myth. R6 or R15. For those unaware, that's the 2 body types on Roblox. And while they might seem similar, they're completely different. But with R6 being much older, you'd think the choice would be obvious. A lot of players would decide on using R15 for their avatar. For one, the R15 body actually has separate limbs, meaning that you'll have access to lots of animation packs that can really change up how your avatar moves. And not only would you be able to scale up your avatar's body, but today, there are now thousands of custom-made emotes that the R15 body can use. But instead, a lot of people would actually choose R6. First, R6 is the preferred body type for a lot of obby games. Second, many people love using the R6 body because it's more simplistic. there's one thing every Roblox player gets wrong, and it's my name. Now, I'm not talking about my in-game username. No, I'm talking about my channel's name. I have seen thousands of comments call me by StromBrew, but you all have been saying it wrong because my channel's actual name is StromBrew, and it's really funny to see people's reactions when they realize the name is actually misspelled. But why in the world would I spell it this way? Well, the thing is, way before I made this channel, someone stole the username, meaning I couldn't use it. But before I completely gave up, an idea hit me. You see, I wanted to do a bit of trolling, so with this perfect opportunity presented to me, I misspelled the name to make other people misspell it. The scariest moment in Roblox history happened today, in 2021. You see, on that day, everything was normal and people were playing Roblox as usual, except at 9 AM, Roblox's servers went down. Now, at this time, everyone was kinda used to Roblox's servers just giving up, which clearly hasn't changed today. And something really funny is that there were some rumors that the outage was actually caused by the Chipotle burrito billing promotion. But even though people were upset they can't play Roblox, everyone was sure this outage was only gonna last like an hour. But little did everyone know, it was gonna be much more than a few hours. You see, before this, Roblox had another server outage that lasted for 60 hours. But you wanna guess how long this outage lasted? 72 hours! You ever saw a Roblox game and thought it looked a bit off? Well, here's some good ways to tell if a robot made it. Primarily, you wanna look for any Roblox models. If the game uses actual Roblox models in the thumbnail, it's probably made from a human. People who make these AI thumbnails are way too lazy to put in that work and pose the model. Another tell is if the thumbnail has over-realistic shaders and unnecessary details. I don't know why, but AI images always have these super realistic renderings, while in reality, Roblox is not that detailed. Also, fingers. Unless you are specifically using the boy avatar model, a majority of Roblox avatars are either fingerless Lego hands or just no hands at all. And finally, game passes. A lot of games do have microtransactions, but these AI games are especially trying to make money off of you. You remember those weird blocky avatars Roblox released? Well, it somehow got worse because Roblox just created this avatar. Now, it's likely meant to look like this person, Manuel Brownstein, but I'ma be real, they did my boy Manuel so dirty. What I don't get is why Mr. Roblox gets a super realistic avatar of himself, but when it's Manuel's turn, he just gets this? Injustice. And it gets worse when you look at it more closely, because you might have noticed there's just something really off about how it looks. And I wouldn't be surprised if Roblox just forced a robot to make it. But the dumbest part about all of this is that Roblox could have avoided all this and made everyone happy by being lazy. Hear me out. What Roblox could have done is just take 10 minutes, grab an avatar model, find the right hair, slap on some clothes, and boom, Manuel. You know, Roblox still shocks me even today. Like nowadays, people see popular games on Roblox that literally have millions of active players basically 24/7. And while someone who doesn't play the game would be really surprised about that, every Roblox player just looks at that and thinks, because it's become so normal to us nowadays. Now, to really put in perspective how insane this is, 8 years ago, this is what games looked like. And some of the most popular games were getting around 30,000 active players. But what makes this even more insane is that there was a Reddit post on Roblox asking what will be the first game to hit 1 million active players. And one of the best replies was, if 1 million players are playing a game at once, which will for sure never happen no matter what, then something is clearly wrong with the world. This is not a drill. Roblox made something actually good. Now, if you haven't checked Roblox's official YouTube page, and let's be real, who even does that, they posted this video, which is mainly just a spotlight review on some popular Roblox games. Now, at this point, you're probably sitting there thinking, ugh, not another corporate Roblox video. But when you watch it, it's actually not bad. And when you look at the comments, people are actually praising the video. One thing I thought was really cool about it were the animated segments they included. But there was something else I noticed that was quite odd. You see, one game they reviewed was Together, which compared to the other games featured in the video was not that popular. And they made it clear that they are definitely doing more videos like this. So we could be in the timeline where Roblox reviews cool games like Block Tales. What if Roblox just bans kids? Most likely people are gonna be happy, since without kids being allowed on Roblox, things might improve. For example, the chat filter doesn't have to censor everything you say anymore, which when thinking about it, sounds like a good deal. But another thing is that tons of games will lose their players. Now, because a large amount of kids play on Roblox, lots lots of popular games are made for those types of players. Games like Brookhaven, a role-playing game for kids to play pretend, or simulators because of flashy lights and numbers going up. And if Roblox just decides to banish every kid from the platform, those games will likely be dead within days, so Roblox might not even survive because those popular games were making them tons of money. If you became your Roblox avatar, what would actually happen? You'd think this would be pretty cool, but you would be very mistaken. If you were using a bacon hair avatar, you would have a pretty neat motorcycle shirt, which would actually be pretty cool, and plus you get a new pair of shoes and jeans for free. However, you would also end up with bacon on your head, which is kinda gross. And if you were wearing a meme avatar, well, you'd end up looking like it in real life. Now, if you were wearing a rich avatar with a nice outfit, and you also had cool headphones and shades, you would have those in real life, which you could try to sell for a ton of money. However, you would need to be very careful, since if you had a Roblox avatar with a Roblox leg or a headless head, that would be pretty bad. Back in the old days, Roblox was a much smaller and innocent platform, but more importantly, there were 3 content creators everyone knew at the time. First is obviously Dan2DM. Now, his content wasn't solely on Roblox, but when he did post about it, every single one of them were absolute bangers. Especially his videos playing games like The Normal Elevator, which very likely got lots of people into the game, so his overall impact to the platform can't be understated. Then there's Ethan Gamer, who you might know for being one of the youngest creators back then. And while that might not seem like anything to you, because lots of people were also kids, they had someone they could relate to and enjoy the video more. But those come nowhere close to the one creator everyone knew, and that's Dennis. There's one thing in Roblox so OP, it breaks the game, and you have it, the shift lock. You're able to access it by going to settings and then toggling it on. But if you take one look at it, you would think there's absolutely nothing interesting about it, because all shift lock really does is lock your camera to your mouse. And while it can be useful for you to use in games like Obbies, other than that, there's a chance you might have never even known it existed. However, there's so much more to it, because just by toggling it, it allows you to look through walls and find hidden areas. But that's nowhere near the craziest part, because if you know how to use shift lock, you're able to perform lots of glitches in any Roblox game, like being able to jump on air molecules. Nowadays, we have games like Royal Garden and this as the 2 biggest rivals on Roblox. But if you've been on Roblox for a while, you might remember something similar way back then, and that's Jailbreak vs Mad City. Now, for a little history, back then around 2018, Jailbreak was the game everyone was playing and making content about, and it easily outcompeted some of the other similar games, like Redwood Prison and Prison Life. Now, its main gameplay was just escaping prison so that you could rob banks in order to grind enough money to buy the really cool cars. And with how huge the game was, everyone thought nothing could ever top it. But when Mad City was released, people were quick to point out that Jailbreak now has some serious competition, because Mad City was both a newer game with new features, and its gameplay was so similar that it felt like Mad City copied Jailbreak's homework. You know those Roblox games that say they're hard except they're really not? Well, this game actually forces you to use your brain cell, but at first it seems simple, because all you need to do is find the code and plug it into the keypad to beat the room. And just in the next level, you only need to know basic multiplication, and boom, simple enough, right? That is until you get to this room, where the code is the sum of this problem, except there isn't a number pad, because you need to input the answer into an abacus. Then in this room, it's not even a puzzle, it's a wipeout obby you gotta navigate, and the game just gets more difficult, testing your knowledge on things like how to play notes on the piano, understanding simple Python code, and what type of tree is this? Which Roblox player do you hate the most? Now, for one, we have the toxic player, and we all know them. Most of the time, they have the most over-the-top edgy avatar, but the biggest defining feature is their ego, which is likely more big than the size of the sun itself. Now, we all don't like them, but if you find one in your game, the best way to deal with them is don't bother interacting. Just ignore them and let them keep on talking to the wall. But how about the bot? Unlike a new player who has just started out on Roblox, these players are literally machines programmed to infest Roblox games and farm 24/7. They don't talk, and most of the time they kind of just float around the place, which is really creepy. Now, how about the exploiters? To my knowledge, these guys have kind of gone extinct with Roblox's new anti-cheat, but they probably still exist. Now, while you do have the small handful of the funny ones that do innocent stuff, there's those people who love ruining people's days by causing chaos and
Win!
What's the fastest way to beat this obby level? Now these are known as pick a path levels, and the main gist of it is that every path doesn't have can collide on, so you'll fall right through, but only one path has can collide, which you can actually walk on. So it's basically a game of chance whether you guess correctly or fall to your death. Now most people will just brute force it if you want to take forever, because you'll end up wasting minutes of your life if there's like 10 paths. Now some people might be screaming, use the camera trick, where you just position your camera into the paths, and if you can't move your camera through it, that means it's the correct one. But it's still not that great, since it still takes some time to actually find the right path, because the fastest method, as long as there isn't kill bricks involved, is to go to settings, turn on click to move, and your character will automatically find the right one. This is one of the easiest Roblox games, cause all you gotta do is jump to the other side. Or is it? Cause in this game made by 2D Tato, it seems like an easy jump, but if you try jumping across, you'll just get blocked and fall to your death. However, if you jump in this area, a block will spawn with a truss. So then just climb over and beat the game. Easy. That is until a train runs you over. Because it turns out there's an invisible path to walk on, but you have to keep on running, since there's a cat PNG that will spawn it and immediately kill you. So after narrowly dodging the cat, you can now just walk to the end before exploding, because for some reason, you have to turn back, climb up this diving board that just spawned, bait out the bird trap, guess the right path, then you beat the game. Roblox is a lot of old gears that are really weird, like this gear called a zombie protest sign. Now, you'd think this gear would have some wacky ability to spawn like zombies to fight with you, right? Well, the only ability this gear has is to play angry yelling sounds. So its only use is to protest that zombies are also people too. But something even more weird is the portable justice. Now, it may just look like a random crate you can hold, but what's really weird about it is that you can just straight up jail anyone you click on. So this gear effectively just pauses the game on whoever you want. But then we have the super weird gears, like Serenok's Golden Chalice of Fame, which spawns crowds of people to swarm you, or the Magic Carrot. But if you eat it, you turn into this. This Roblox game is impossible, because it's full of landmines you have to disarm by stepping on it. Except in this game, you don't know which landmine is safe or dangerous. So if you guess wrong, you might need an ice pack. Luckily, the first mine you step on is always safe, but your job isn't finished yet, because depending on the difficulty, you either have to clear 64 to 324 mines. So is this game just luck? Not exactly. You see, each safe landmine gives you a number, corresponding to how much active landmines are around it. Wait. So you're just saying it's a game of Minesweeper then? That's so easy. Except, instead of just clicking on tiles and placing flags with your mouse, you have to physically step on the landmines and place the flags. But when you're about to finish the game, one wrong step and you gotta start over. You can upload custom accessories on Roblox. This is because a year ago, Roblox gave everyone access to publish UGC, which everyone thought was a bad idea. But to everyone's shock, no, it's still bad. Now, to be fair, there has been a lot of really cool accessories that make you think, yeah, I actually would buy that and not be embarrassed to wear it. But for everything else, it sucks. Like first, there's a literal vending machine outfit, although it is actually kind of silly. But then you can dress up as a slot machine? And I mean, I guess it does make sense, because 80% of all Roblox games are just gambling, but then it just gets more dumb, because we also have cardboard cutouts of celebrities. And there's so much UGC on Roblox, I need to test something. Cam, man, no way. What's the rarest hat in Roblox?
What's that one Roblox player you can't stand? Maybe it's the teamers, and we all met them at least once. They can be in any game, but notably ones like Murder Mystery 2, and they're just annoying to deal with. But your best bet is to just leave the game, and try not to give them any attention or satisfaction. But I can bet a lot of you hate the pipsqueaks. Now, you can find these players in literally any popular game, and while not all of them are unbearable, a lot of them really make you question what's going on in their head. But if you meet one with voice chat, be ready to lower your volume with the screaming you're gonna hear. But how about the chat bypassers? Now, these people will find every loophole to bypass the chat filter. But honestly, their dedication to break Roblox TOS in order to be able to swear at children is crazy.
Everything is Roblox. That's what I realized while I was scrolling through the website and I saw this game called Please Don't Touch Anything. And then I remembered something. Didn't I see Markiplier play something like this? And after a quick search, yeah, because it turns out it's the exact same game, but Roblox. And I'm not saying it's bad, it's actually really well made. But that got me wondering, what other games have an exact Roblox copy? And this caused me to fall down the deepest rabbit hole, because any game you can think of has has a Roblox version. Oh, you want some Counter-Strike? No problem. We also have the case unboxing. Team Fortress 2? More like typical colors 2. And I know what you're about to say, but Storm, surely Roblox doesn't have the hit Flash game Block Source. And you know what? You got me there. Except we have that too. There's a few features on Roblox nobody uses. Like, who actually uses Roblox's game recorder? Every single time I used it was when I accidentally hit the button to activate the recorder. And while you could argue that it's useful since it's free, the thing is though, even with a good computer, the quality of the video is surprisingly trash. And if you really need to record something, you'd be much better off using something like OBS, which is also free. But even if Roblox did improve their video recorder, nobody likes that red border that appears when you turn it on. Another thing is the report button. Since let's be real, Roblox is more likely to ban you instead of the person you're actually reporting. People also never use the micro profiler. Now, you might have never even realized this actually existed, and for people who do know, it's probably because you accidentally enabled it. One of the most saddest things on Roblox is this. Now, if you joined Roblox recently in the past years, you're probably sitting there wondering what's so special about it. Well, the screenshot was actually taken from a pretty old Roblox game called Prison Life, and the main gameplay revolved around picking two sides. You could either be a prisoner trying to escape, or you could be a prison guard trying to defend the prison. And the game became super popular on Roblox around 8 years ago. Okay, so the image is sad because it makes people nostalgic? Well, not exactly. You see, if you're able to make it inside the guard's room and walk into the armory, you could find groups of weapons. One side that has free weapons for everyone to use, and the other side having really cool gear that's locked behind a game pass. Except the middle one, because even though it's already been 8 years, it's still coming soon. If you traveled back in time to old Roblox, what would you do? You would first try to copy the games that are popular today, since if you're the first person to make these games, you can just taste the fame and fortune you'll have. Except there are some problems. When you go to try to develop a game like Please Donate, you realize it might not be possible, because the old Roblox engine is not the same one you know today, since it has a lot more limitations. But luckily, you had a backup plan, so you begin to buy hats and accessories. Now, other people might say you're dumb for wasting your money on some stupid random hats, but you know that in the modern day, their prices would have skyrocketed, and when you return to the present, you will be insanely rich, because the hats you bought back then will be worth millions. There's one game on Roblox you should never play, and it's this. Now, a lot of you would think you shouldn't play it because it's some horror game with overused jump scares, but no, you shouldn't play this game because once you join it, it can automatically get your account banned. And I'm not saying you just get banned from the game, no, your account gets permanently banned from Roblox. Now, how is this actually possible? Since if any game could get you banned, we would all be living in fear and never play games again. Well, it turns out some smart people were able to come up with a script that makes a player say anything. But what's wrong with that? Sure, you could get someone to say something really silly, but it doesn't seem that bad, right? Well, because they can make anyone who joins their game say whatever they want, you are forced to say some really bad stuff so you get banned. You know how Roblox loves to rename stuff like friends to connections? Well, here's some name ideas I came up with to make the platform worse, I mean professional. First, the name Robux is just too creative for a game like Roblox. Like, who actually uses the word Robux to describe Roblox's currency? Nobody! Instead, I think the name should be changed to simply digital currency. That way, everyone will love it. Second, a lot of people know about Roblox avatars, but the name avatar is just way too complex, and honestly, it's so bad, it should be burnt to the ground. Rather, Roblox should change it to a more short and simple word, like personification. Third, nobody likes the name Roblox, so I think we should just get rid of the name entirely and change it to Blockville. I normally like Roblox's old maps, but there's one I hate, the Crossroads. Except it's not what you think. You see, while the map was created way back in the day, I think the map's design is actually super cool. Instead, I hate the map because its trees are evil. Let me explain. For a little bit of context, I make these videos in Roblox Studio, and while that sounds kinda weird, it allows me to set up scenes and use FreeCam. However, in order for me to move things around in place, I only have two choices. Either move it with these arrows, or the more easier option, drag stuff around. Now, when I drag an object, there's typically no lag or stuttering. However, in this map specifically, the trees are spheres. So if I accidentally drag an object on these trees, the game freezes. It's so stupid. The most questionable thing Roblox released were their toys. And I just remembered about them when I found this. And it has a buff newt. Now, I get it's supposed to be a meme pack with the Despacito spider, but I'm pretty sure a Roblox employee just googled Roblox memes because half of the stuff in it makes no sense. Like, Doge in a top hat, shopping cart, and who could forget the iconic Roblox meme, a clown. And $100 just for this? You could get like a burger for that. But that's nothing compared to this. Why do you exist? And it's not even a fake, it's an official Roblox toy. Not only that, but it's also an official avatar made by Roblox. But the most stupid part about all of this is that the toy costs more than the Roblox avatar. You should never use Roblox's free models in your game. Well, not never. You probably know that in Roblox Studio, there's a section called Toolbox where you can search up models that you can use for free. And they can be super handy, because if you need like a tree for your game, normally you would have to know how to build, then create the part, extend it, recolor it, and I don't want to put in the work, I want my tree now. Well, you can just search up tree and boom, tree. Problem solved. But using free models comes with a big risk. You see, while most of the models you find are completely harmless, you should always be double checking the model for anything suspicious, because there are some free models that hide malicious scripts, which give exploiters backdoor access to your game. Who are you people? Now, yesterday I posted a video on the easiest Roblox game, where all you had to do was get to the other side. But I made one big mistake, because when I was checking the comments section, I saw that people were asking stuff like, what game is this? Game name? Not even listen to game name. Skull emoji. And at that point, the worst feeling hit me. How did I manage to forget such an important detail? I could never recover from this. My channel was ruined. Except when I rewatched the video, the name of the game is right there. So then why do people think I forgot the name? Well, you could say that they scrolled off a video because of their attention span. Except I showed the game in the first 6 to 8 seconds. So the only explanation is that these can't be real people. There was a feature Roblox added that made games worse. Now you might think it's the new Roblox UI, or UGC, but it's actually premium payouts. For those who don't know, premium payouts basically pays developers Robux depending on the amount of time users with premium have played the game for. And at this point, you're probably really confused, because this actually sounds like a really good feature, because on paper, it encourages developers to create really fun games, right? No, because in reality, nobody wanted to put in the hard work to make a good game. But then people realized something. The amount of Robux you actually get only depends on the amount of time premium users are in your game. As a result, games turn into AFK simulators.
If Roblox gave you a button that will permanently make you move incredibly fast, would you press it? At first, you would really consider it. If you actually press the button, you would become the fastest player on Roblox. And with your new speed, many games will become super easy to win. If you tried playing Dead Rails, you could beat the entire game really quickly now that you don't have to rely on a slow train to get you to Mexico. And if you played Forsaken, you would never be caught by killers now that you move super fast. But before you press the button, you realize it wouldn't all be great. If you gained the super speed, there wouldn't be a way to turn it off. So if you just try to walk, it would be really tedious, since you'd either accidentally throw yourself into the void, or you would just slam into a wall.
You all are liars. Now I mainly post my videos on YouTube, and because of that, I have access to YouTube's analytics about you guys. And according to YouTube, the main demographic of people who watch me are between 25 through 44 years old. I'm sorry, what adult is watching a random guy yap about a Lego game? Now, most likely, these are just kids on their mom's iPad watching me, but just to really make sure I did something terrible, and check the YouTube comments. And I saw stuff like, I'm early 3 minutes, can I get a pain? How did you manage to misspell the word by adding a letter? There's a Gumball horror game too. Right, the famous animated show The Amazing World of Gumball. And probably the worst one, It Grows Offline, speaking emoji, fire emoji, Jandel Jockey. You should never trust anyone who looks like this, except me. You see, I notice a lot of people using my avatar, and while I can't force you guys to stop cosplaying as me, and I get it, I have the best avatar in the world, because I don't have that fancy schmancy verified badge that other popular YouTubers have, if little Billy watches my videos and finds an avatar that looks like me demanding for all his Robux, little Billy isn't gonna think, you know what, that's an imposter, I should not give them anything. Instead, he's gonna be, OMG the real StromBrew, and the next thing you know, Billy's now living on the streets. Now, I could just share my official account, but that won't matter since the nickname feature exists, which can easily fool people. So to solve this, I created a foolproof plan to tell if I'm real or not. If you see someone in Roblox who appears like me, even if it's actually me, it's an imposter. Get him!
If you were forced to delete every game off of Roblox except for one, what game would you save? Initially, you'd probably think of saving a popular Roblox game, like Grow a Garden, since you
you might have lots of hours played in the game, and you'd hate to lose all the progress and Robux you spent on it. But then you realize there's also millions of players who don't like playing the game. So if you actually chose to save it, you'd be hated by them forever. And who knows what else will happen to you. So you need to find a better game that everyone actually enjoys. However, after you scrolled through thousands of games on Roblox, you couldn't find a single game that everyone would like, since everyone has their own favorite types of games to play. So you finally decided to delete everything. You can now create custom emotes on Roblox. And while that might sound great to you, let's be real, what was Roblox thinking? If you remember the time when Roblox allowed anyone to upload UGC, you know that this is just a disaster waiting to happen. Now, to be fair, there has been some really fun and neat emotes that people have created. Some emotes just being references to memes, other games, or just some really wacky and interesting ones. You know, actual normal stuff. But if you know the Roblox community well enough, you know that people have already taken advantage of this. And by that, people have found a way to create emotes that give you huge advantages in games. Like this emote that makes you play dead. But that's nothing compared to this emote, which is insanely overpowered. One of the worst types of Roblox games are the copies. And you have probably noticed a trend where every time there's a new popular Roblox game, you will always find blatant copies of the game made by players for easy money. And even worse, they are filled with microtransactions. But for a while, every single time a person attempted to copy the original for a quick buck, the copy normally fails and never achieves the same success of the original game. Until now. Because with the release of a new Roblox game called Grow a Garden, it alone has reached numbers that you probably never imagined to be possible. And while we all expected people to try and copy the game for money, absolutely nobody expected how big this copy would get. So I may have done something really dumb. Now yesterday, I made this video talking about how lots of people are wearing my avatar. I know, it's totally amazing. And I went over the risk of how some people may try to impersonate me for personal gain. But if you were paying attention to the video, I showed this image of my account, which was a stupid idea by me. But what's wrong with that? Well, you see, Roblox has this feature where you can follow people, and the amount of followers you have is displayed on your profile. But I never really cared about having a high follower count like other YouTubers. And I also assumed you guys didn't care at all. Because of that, I never bothered to show my account. So in the video, I only showed my profile for a second, thinking most people wouldn't notice. And if they did notice, nobody would care. But after I published the video, why is there so many of you? Okay, this might be the dumbest glitch in Roblox. Now, you all are probably familiar with the basic Roblox glitches you can do, like the iconic wall clip everyone knows, which you're able to do by using the Dance 2 emote and timing your shift lock to basically teleport through the wall. Or if you're a pro obby player, you can probably do wall hops in your sleep and literally jump on the side of walls like it's nothing. But while all those glitches might seem kinda neat, they come nowhere close to this glitch in a video from Hazy, where in the video, they utilize a patch glitch technique called flame control. And it looks so stupid. You literally parry the air to launch yourself. But how is this possible? Well, normally, when you're traveling really fast and your character hits something, you fling. But by using shift lock, you can control your flight. On today's episode of What Has Roblox Done Now? We got some good news, because Roblox is removing your ability to chat. Kinda. So if you haven't heard, you will soon not be allowed to talk in chat unless you take photos of yourself so that an AI can determine your age. But you wanna know something even better? Because a human isn't doing this, the AI is probably gonna get your age wrong. Okay, but at least you can now actually chat with other people now. Right? Nope! Because depending on what age the AI thinks you are only allowed to chat with those people in the same age as you. And they try to make it sound good by saying the facial age estimation process is fast and secure. But like Roblox, people are gonna find ways around this. And also, you're telling me that if a person is like 18 but the AI thinks they're actually 6, that person will be cursed to only chat with drooling iPad babies. One of the worst trends in Roblox is the offline trend. Now, if you don't know, it's when a game stops the word offline in their thumbnail for no reason. But now you might be wondering, why would a game ever want to do that? That seems kinda stupid. Well, this all started with this fairly small game, not sure if you heard of it, called Grow a Garden. Now, the game itself was obviously about growing plants, but what made the game kinda unique was that it included this grows offline tag in their thumbnail. At this point, you'd think nobody would really care if a game tells you it can do something offline. But for some reason, every developer saw that and went, that's the key! If I put the word offline in my game, I will be successful too. So now we have games like Rides Offline, Builds Offline, and best of all, Slides Offline. If you were playing Roblox during 2016, you might recognize this game. game, Cole's Admin House. Now for those unaware, this game basically gave anyone who joined admin, which definitely did not cause people to abuse it, so I decided to revisit the game. Upon joining, I spawned in this box, where you would normally have to parkour over these thin lava bricks to make it to the house and touch a pad to get admin, except all the pads were taken by this villain called Mr. Master Pro. Except in this situation, you would just be able to reset it by clicking this purple pad, but he blocked it off. As if it couldn't get worse, he ordered me to get out of the house with a weapon. Like, what did I do? However, this marked the downfall for Mr. Master Pro, because little did he know, young idiot me bought permanent admin for the game, so I simply apprehended the target and he's now serving his time. This might be the biggest redemption arc on Roblox. Now, if you don't know, there's this game on Roblox called Fish that used to be really popular, and the main gist of it was just a game to catch fish. Now, a while back, it used to be a nice game to chill out with, but you know the saying, you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain? Well, Fish got bought by a certain studio that people really don't like, and as a result, the game had added a ton of microtransactions that made the game incredibly pay to win, causing the game to have a huge downfall. But after a while, the studio actually handed the game over to some of the original developers, who removed a lot of the pay to win monetization. And while it's too soon to predict anything, the game appears to be making a huge comeback.
People hate Roblox updates, but there are some updates everyone despised, one being the removal of ticks. Now, if you're a new player, you probably never heard that term before, but it was basically Roblox's free currency, and you could exchange ticks for Robux. But since ticks was better since you didn't have to pay for it, less people were buying Robux. And since Roblox needs to swim in a pool of money, ticks was removed in 2016. But another hated update was Roblox removing guests. If you didn't have an account back then, you were able to play any game as a guest with its own unique avatar. But since Roblox wanted to increase the number of users on the platform, they removed guests in 2017. But the worst update of them all had to be Arthro. And I mean, look at it! Compared to Roblox's original blocky style, this attempt to introduce realism to what is literally a Lego game makes Arthro super uncanny, and was incredibly hated by the community.
You know, there's still a ton of Roblox games I don't get why people play. Like, Grow Garden is all about growing your own garden, which is kind of boring for many people, but because it has a shop that restocks really quickly, it entices people to stay on in case something rare becomes available. And as much as I don't like the game, I can understand why a ton of people still play it, because there's a fear that you might miss something good if you leave the game. But then there's something like this, and I mean, why? Why play it? Is it the creatures that made the game so insanely popular? Is it because you can steal from other players to ruin their day? I know I always trash the game, but I don't get how millions of players can play this 24/7. And also, Ink Games. I am completely bewildered it's this popular still. And it's not because I don't like the gameplay or the show, but because the third season came out 2 months ago.
If Roblox made every game cost Robux to play, what would even happen? When you try to join your favorite Roblox game, you're completely shocked, because it now costs 10,000 Robux just to play it. At first, you think it's just a glitch, until you check another game, and another one, until you realize every game now costs Robux. Then you notice that players are furious, because nobody is able to play their favorite Roblox games anymore. So one by one, players start to quit Roblox. As the days go by, Roblox's player count shrinks more and more by the day, and if you don't do anything, Roblox will be abandoned forever. So you quickly rush over to Roblox HQ to put a stop to this. But the moment you tried speaking to Roblox, you're banned for harassment. And as the last Roblox player quits, Roblox's fate is sealed.
What's the silliest avatar in Roblox? You might think it's one of those meme avatars you saw people use, and I thought so too for a while. The first time you see it, it will give you a good laugh with how stupid and goofy it is, especially if you're playing a horror game and your friend just looks like this. But over the years, millions of people now use them, and you can find one in every game you join, so it isn't really silly anymore. Instead, some people would think the silliest avatar is something like this, which are avatars that disguise you into objects, like this cute little home, a very non-suspicious moving box, or even a car. And while they can be pretty silly, especially if you see a table walking straight at you, those come nowhere close to this. R6 is better than R15, or at least that's what people want you to believe if you're playing an obby game on Roblox. But why is that? Well, one possible reason is because R6 causes you to not move around as much. Now that might sound kinda useless on its own. However, if you're playing an obby with lava bricks which can instantly delete you if you touch them, moving around less can be a big benefit, because some R15 animations animations makes you move around a lot, so you're more likely to accidentally die. But there's a more important reason why. Now you probably know about those emote commands you can do, and both R6 and R15 share the same dance. However, while R15's emotes don't really provide any value unless you have those pay-to-win emotes, R6 has a lot of emotes you can use to glitch. What's next for Roblox? Now in this month, the game that has single-handedly taken over Roblox and crashed the platform, Grow a Garden, has finally gone below 1 million players this month. And while this is definitely because of the fact that school is back in session, which means kids won't be able to play the game 24/7, the game's trend has been going down. And like a ton of other games, its 15 minutes of fame is probably gonna end soon and die out. So what's gonna be the next big game? Well, a lot of people might think it's 99 Nights in the Forest, because right now it has taken the #1 spot. But I don't think it will stay that way for long. But why would I think that? Do I hate the game? No. Instead, we have seen games explode in popularity basically overnight, so we might see a new big game very soon.
What Roblox games do you think could end the world? Many would say the subspace trip mine, and you would be more than correct. If you somehow don't know, this funny item allows you to place invisible traps that can't be detected. Now that might not sound all that bad since there's only just one. It couldn't be that bad, right? But unfortunately, you're able to spawn an infinite amount of them. So if you take one wrong step, you're gone. But how about the hyper laser? Now this alien-like technology does exactly what you think it does. With one shot, it can basically unexist anyone from the world. Did I mention you get an infinite amount of ammunition for what basically looks like a pool toy? And the only thing that's holding this gear back from destroying everyone is that it kind of fires slow, so you could dodge it. But the worst is this, so what if Roblox just removed jumping? For one, obby games would be completely ruined. I mean, just imagine joining an obby game and you can't even make it past the first stage since you need to jump over a lava brick, making every single obby game nearly impossible to beat. And don't even imagine playing speedrun 4 without being able to jump. And even for non-obby games, they will all still be affected, since your ability to jump is something we all take for granted. And without it, every Roblox game will be really weird to play, especially if you get completely stuck in an area because you can't jump anymore. And for developers, it's even worse, since they now have to completely rebuild the games to account for the fact that people can only walk.
The brick battle weapons are more broken than I thought. Now if you don't know, there's this game called Doomspire Brick Battle, where you get a set of weapons and you have to destroy all the other towers to win. But as a kid, I thought all the weapons were kinda trash, because all I really did was spam the rocket launcher from my base. But upon revisiting the game, the weapons are secretly overpowered in the right hands. Now you already know that the sword's lunge gives you extra height, but what about the slingshot? You'd think it's a mediocre span weapon and that's it. But did you know the slingshot lets you jump on the pellets in mid-air? And then there's this. Normally you just place it and it explodes, but there's a few things you can do with it. You might already know that when you jump the moment you place it, you get a huge jump boost. But if you're standing right next to it as it explodes, it launches you.
If Roblox removed respawning, what would you actually do? At first, you'd be panicking, because if you died even once in any Roblox game, or if you just wanted to reset your avatar, you only have one life left. So without it, you wouldn't be able to play any more Roblox games. So you start to mark down what Roblox games would be dangerous to play. You decide to avoid any combat games on Roblox, because dying in those games is a really common thing, and you would easily lose your only life if you played any of them. You also decided to avoid obby games, since while you don't fight in them, there is a lot of kill bricks and a really high chance for you to fall into the void. But because you can't really play any of your favorite Roblox games anymore, you just decide to quit.
This weird rabbit game knows Roblox better than Roblox itself. Now for context, I was looking through some games until I found this odd thing. What the heck is that? Now this weird creature is meant to be from that one TV show about rabbits invading the world, but somehow the game understands Roblox's style and history better than what Roblox could ever do. First of all, the game actually has gameplay, unlike Roblox's official games, which are basically just hubs to join other games. Then there's the Robloxian team. There's 4 characters you can choose, but something cool about it is that they designed it in R6. Contrast that to Roblox, who might honestly hate the R6 design, since they seem to be obsessed over promoting their Arthur avatars. And then there's the weird rabbit creatures, because while Roblox might have no idea what a bacon hair is anymore, the rabbits have a costume designed after it.
What if Roblox removed Robux? Now at first, this might sound great to you, since most likely everything on Roblox would be completely free, so people who never had Robux to customize their avatar now have the full freedom to use any items they would have dreamed of wearing, regardless of how expensive expensive those items were, like a Dominus. Plus, without Robux, Roblox games will no longer be cash grabs that beg players for money or offer pay-to-win items, making games fair for everyone playing instead of a person just paying for an overpowered item. But without Robux, I can bet many players will get really mad because people who had really expensive items, even worth more than a house, would now be worth less than dirt.
What does the ban hammer actually do? Now, if you played Roblox for any amount of time, you're probably thinking it bans people. It's literally in the name. Or does it? Because it turns out the ban hammer couldn't actually ban anyone. Like, ever. Now you're probably thinking, what is this guy on? Of course it can ban people, but have you ever actually used it? If you go on the Banhammer's official page, you'll notice it's listed not for sale, meaning regular players couldn't actually get it except for Roblox and the moderators, who were the only people given it. So if you were a kid hearing about this magical Banhammer that was only given to admins, you would assume the gear could actually ban anyone you hit with it. Now it still does technically ban people, but not in the way you're thinking, because all it can do is knock people off the map. If Roblox only allowed you to play one game per day, how bad would it be? Now at first you would be very upset, since if you're limited to only one Roblox game per day, if you accidentally joined a game like Brookhaven, you would be suffering because you can't change your game once you join it. So for the rest of the day, you are only allowed to play Brookhaven, which might sound like torture for you unless you actually enjoy role-playing. Instead, you would try to carefully pick out a Roblox game to not make that mistake. So you would look for a Roblox game you actually like to play, and it can be replayed a ton of times without you getting bored. And then you remember that requires a lot of effort, so you just make an alt account. If you could feel what your Roblox avatar feels, what would happen? You might think this doesn't sound all that bad, but you would be quickly wrong. If you tried playing a Roblox game and you dropped down from a high point, normally your Roblox avatar would have no fall damage at all. But since you can feel the impact in game, that means your legs would also feel the same pain. But there is some upsides for you. If you consumed a food item or drink in game, you actually wouldn't feel hungry anymore, which could be a pretty useful perk for you. However, you would have to be very cautious about the games you play, because if you tried playing a combat game, that would be a really bad idea for you, because if you joined the game and someone just blasted a rocket at you, you're gonna end up in the hospital. Roblox has to stop with its redesign, and what I mean by that is that you've likely noticed in the past years, they have been completely changing how the entire platform looks into a modern style. Now, at first, it wasn't too bad. Like the time they changed their logo and got rid of the funky, unique style for a more straightened out look. And while it wasn't really the worst, it did kind of suck to see the old logo go. And then they changed how the entire website looked, from the well-known blue and white background you see on the front page to a single color. And at this point, they really could have stopped, but they kept going and started changing stuff that were completely fine on its own. For example, you'd think the color green for the play button is good, but for some reason they decided to change it to blue. However, what really did it for me was when they changed friends to connection.
What type of Roblox player are you? Be honest. Some of you might be the hermit, or basically you're really inactive on Roblox. Sure, maybe once a month you hop on because your friends are doing the same. You play a few games, but then you go offline again. Maybe for another month, or maybe for an entire year. But props to you guys, since you probably have a social life. Now, maybe you're actually the goober, who doesn't really take any game seriously and simply plays for the laughs and to have fun. You might also do a bit of trolling and tomfoolery here and there and annoy some random people, but it's probably a blast for you guys, and I couldn't blame you. But for the rest of you guys, you might be the no-life. Now that might sound bad, and it does, because you probably spend hours grinding that one game you're really passionate about. So remember to take a break. Have you ever noticed how tons of Roblox games just copy other games? Now, some Roblox games do copy, but in a good way. You have probably seen the game like Block Tales with the amount of people who glaze the game all the time. And the game does take a lot of stuff from popular titles like Earthbound and Paper Mario. But even if you despise the game with your life, you could probably say that it builds on those games to make something pretty unique. But on the other hand, you have the bad Roblox copies. Most likely, you've seen this game called A Dusty Trip on Roblox. And if you watch anything else on YouTube other than Roblox
Roblox videos, you probably realize the game completely rips off the long drive on Steam.
Do you need something to flex on Roblox? Well, you can earn this rare blue checkmark in a few ways. Now, one big thing is that you can't ask for it, since Roblox only gives it out to certain people that have met a goal. One being that you're kinda popular, or basically you have 100,000 followers on a platform like YouTube or TikTok. But if you're already a star creator, it's guaranteed. Now, if you don't have that much subscribers on your YouTube channel, don't worry, because if you own a game that is super popular and it has over 1 million hours of playtime within a few months, or you helped develop a popular game, you could qualify for the checkmark. But if you still really want that checkmark, but you don't have any of those, there's still one more way. Simply just own a billion-dollar company.
In Roblox, you can have up to 1,000 friends, connections. And for some reason, people love to flex about having the max amount. So here's the fastest way to do it. Now, if you're already a super popular figure on Roblox or YouTube, this is probably super easy. But if you're not that popular yet, that's fine too, because there's another way. First, you want to look for a game to join. Ideally, it should be a game with a ton of players in one server. So you want to find games with servers of 50 to 100 players. Now, the reason we wanted a big player server is because when you join the game, you want to open up the menu with escape and start adding everyone in your game. But the moment you try to add someone, they'll probably decline your request. So join another server, add everyone in that game, and repeat until you're famous.
What's the best way to find good Roblox games? Searching the front page is something you all probably tried doing, and very rarely you can actually find a few good ones. But honestly, you're more likely to win the lottery than finding good games on Roblox to play. And Roblox's recommended section isn't good either, since most of the time you're only just gonna find cash grab games that take away your money, or even worse, simulator games that aren't even worth playing. Now, asking people around you for games might be an option, because maybe one of your friends have tons of good games to recommend you, but if they only play popular games like Blox Fruits, this might not work. And checking people's favorited games also isn't good, because it still depends on what people like to play, because the best way is using better discovery.
There was a Christmas avatar on Roblox that was actually OP. Now you're probably thinking, that's stupid, there's no such thing as an overpowered Christmas avatar, except there was, the Snow Gentleman. Now when you look at it, it seems completely useless, because when you think of OP avatars, the first thing that comes to mind are ones that turn you to props, or decreases your size. But if you try wearing it in-game, you're kind of paying to lose, because you're more easier to spot and you look kind of stupid. So it's pointless then, right? And for most games, it was. Except for one, Jailbreak. You see, back in 2017, people discovered an interesting glitch that completely broke the game, because by wearing the Snow Gentleman avatar and simply crawl, you could travel at the speed of light.
Okay, video's over. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it all. Okay, go to bed.